Good evening, everyone. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Sheila Seppi, and I'd like to welcome you to Cosmic Conversations. If you're watching live or on replay, then I want to thank you for being here and tuning in to us. And I also want to ask all of our wonderful viewers if they would go ahead and go on to mute. So tonight, my co-host is Alan Steinfeld, host of New Realities, and our guest is Joan of Angels, who's going to be speaking with us about how to activate your presence and stand in your power. So, Alan, I'm going to have you to go ahead and come on up and let's get Joan introduced.
Right. Well, I can't say enough about Joan because I see her probably about 5 times a day somewhere online. We've worked together, played vacation, travel, and run big tours together. But that's not saying anything about her necessarily. That's our connection and partnership. But Joan is an inspiration. I actually called Joan on stage to warm up the crowd before I spoke because she brings a level of excitement and enthusiasm just by her being, just by her presence. She wakes people up, and she's been activated to a kind of angelic order, and she has people get in touch with their angelic realms. And I've seen just a huge transformation in Joan over the last couple of years. And she's putting herself out more publicly because she realizes she has a lot to say. So she's bringing us a deep divine message tonight just by her presence and her enthusiasm and her curiosity of being on this plane. So my very good friend, and I didn't want to say her names years ago, but I have to say, Joan of Angels, ladies and gentlemen.
Joan is in the house. Welcome, Joan. Welcome.
Sweet.
Yes.
Whoa. I'm going to take a deep breath. Back to everyone, take a deep breath with me. If we're going to actually talk about presence tonight, we might as well all start with that feeling of presence. So take a deep breath in with me before I even thank all my friends online here. And just like we're welcoming ourselves, we're welcoming the divine beings, the star beings, the angelic beings that are with us, the sentient beings. And Alan, I have to say that the longer we get to know each other, the better these introductions get. That's a private joke. No, I always thought Alan didn't like me. And for years, no, I'm going to give him a backstory. And it wasn't until we started, because he was so friendly just so friendly with everyone else. And I could never get to that level of lovey-dovey friendliness with him. And then we started working together. And Neil has been the bridge for that. And I'm kind of here in place of Neil. So we're going to show a few of the things that Ellen and I are doing. But I want to thank Sheila. Thank you very much. I want to thank Susie and Libby and Karen Swain. We did a great interview a few months ago, and I should see everyone else who's here, but it's just,
and James is great, a great addition. But can I tell you my backstory to that same thing when you thought I didn't like you? We're sitting on the couch at the Conscious Life Expo, and you say, well, you never talk to me. You don't look at me. And it's like, I didn't even know who you were, but I also knew there's going to be a time where we're going to be surprisingly close to each other. I just felt that at that moment where there was this disconnection. I knew I really did know at that moment, this is the start of a beautiful friendship.
It has been, guys. And out of that, we have a show that Alan and I do together called Out of This World. And we always start off by laughing. We can't help it. We just like to laugh together. I think we must have been comedians in a past lifetime. We probably like, Lucy and Desi or something, because we have that kind of energy. But Alan, let's talk about what kinds of events we're doing with Neil. So guys, about a year ago, part of my transformation is I came on board with Portal to Ascension, and I have just been promoted to executive producer, which is to do more things and adding that on. But Alan and I are really doing a lot of events. I just want to show you some of them. So I have it hooked up. who knows about the Ascension conference? Sheila is a sponsor of that. We're really happy to have her as a sponsor, but I want to share the screen. I'm really excited. This is actually the second live conference in my life I've ever helped to produce. So pray. No, I'm kidding.
That Joan and I are on a whirlwind tour of the planet this year,
We
from
are.
San Diego to Glastonbury to Egypt to Sedona, and who knows where else. And this whole year of 2023 is snowballing as Pluto emerges into Aquarius. It is what Joan and I and Neil are about, activating a planetary consciousness. So we're moving around the planet to make sure everyone gets this activation. So here we are.
And I'm going to share a lot of that. But yeah, let's share this because this is coming up in April. Less than 3 weeks away, I think.
Everyone's invited. Go to your tickets at ascensionconference.com. It's a fantastic cast of characters, if we can put it that way. Adam Apollo, right? Linda Moulton Howe, JJ and Desiree Hurtog, Carolyn Corey, Michael Cremo, I don't know, Robert Grant, Geraldine Orozco. These are the all-stars of our team. Of course, Sheila's going to be there. Stargate's going to be there. Me and Neil and Joan, Michelle Anderson, Tangela. I mean, this is our family, Joan. We're having a party.
Well, you know, after being at the Conscious Life Expo this year and seeing how important it was to be together again, and it really is. It's wonderful to be on Zoom. We're so lucky to have Zoom, but when we come together, like the moment I met Sheila, I couldn't believe it. I had known her forever. And Susie, when she came up, just this feeling that comes from personal connection. So any of you that can come, know that you're going to be with your soul tribe. You'll be able to sit with Sheila. She's going to be there, and Alan and myself and all of the all-stars, right? So that's conference number one that we're doing.
At that conference, we're doing a special ancient civilization panel with really some of the most influential people activating ancient civilization knowledge. Robert Grant, Robert Schoch, who invented the field of astroarchaeology. He coined that term. He dated the Sphinx, which was fantastic, 10,000 years older than anyone has suspected, because he was able to see the geological formations on the ancient Sphinx. All right, I could talk on and on about him.
You could. Okay, now the next thing that we're doing, and I just want to mention it, is we're taking people to Glastonbury, and we do have a conference happening in Glastonbury. Oh gosh, I'm trying to see how to, I have to open up my Chrome to see where that one is. Okay, it's right here, Glastonbury, and it should show up now. You should really help me out with this. I feel like I'm lost in my Google Chrome. Hold on.
How can I help?
Well, I'm trying to show the conference.
Are you hitting share screen?
I was sharing screen, yes. Hold on, I'll try it again.
Okay.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
Perfect.
Second conference, which is near and dear to my heart, is in Glastonbury, another sacred mystery school, another portal, and we are gathering the tribe of people who actually were with us in the fall of Atlantis. And so what you're going to see here is that people that we've been together with forever are coming back to be with us. So we have a 3-day conference in Glastonbury. If you haven't been to Glastonbury, the healing waters, the Avebury itself, the center of the high priestesses, the Avalon priestesses, who were able to call the ships in without, just to call them in, and very powerful energies there, besides the little people, the fairies, the elves. And so the magic of Glastonbury, and then going deeper, and here's the thing I'm going to talk about a bit. This is aligning with this presence I've been feeling. and this remembering of who I am. That's why it's amazing that I'm doing these conferences. It's if the conferences were completely aligned with. So Alan, can you bring up the Egypt? Because I forgot that one.
Okay, I have to go find it first on my.
Okay, bring up the Egypt trip. And
Yeah.
before he brings up the Egypt trip, since I already have it up here, I'll bring up the crystal skulls. I don't know how you guys feel about crystal skulls, but crystal skulls are the computer. They carry the memory of the planet in a very special way. And we have the privilege to have several very renowned skulls and their skull keepers to come and to do tremendous activations about what is going on here to help us, I think, go into the new time. When the skulls come together, then there's a brand new energy on board. So anything you want to say, and this is Alan and I and Neil are just very passionate about.
These are some great skulls. Bill Holman, of course, owns the Mitchell Hedges skull, which is probably the oldest and most well-known and the clearest, Joan. The Mitchell Hedges skull is clear quartz, which makes it so much fantastic.
And I just had dinner with the crystal skull next to us with Einstein, and Einstein downloaded a lot of his wisdom to me, so you're going to hear that tonight. Now, the energy is really profound. And I don't want to go through each of the skull keepers, but you all know Jody, probably. Some of you all know Stephanie Lodge. So even people from our community are going to be a part of this event. And there's the core team. So I'm happy to share that. And the last trip that we're taking is Egypt. Did you get it up, Alan?
Right there, it's up.
Okay, so who here has ever wanted to go to Egypt? Like, I mean, raise your hand. And I've had several regressions this year, remembering my past lives. And here I am we're taking 2 tours to Egypt. And a lot of the people that are coming are part of this community, part of the Portal to Ascension community. And that is part of the Mystery School sacred teachings that we all know each other from a different time. So the Hertaks are our spiritual advisors and initiators.
And they've been there 20 times to Egypt. They know Egypt very, very well. But besides that, we're going to be going to the ancient sacred sites in Egypt. Let me just show the itinerary here. If make sure this comes up. Okay. Let me see here. Day 1, Cairo, which is fantastic stuff. Day 2, we are going to be doing a special meditation inside the paws of the Sphinx. I don't want to go through everything. Saqqara, one of the oldest pyramids on the planet. The Valley of the Kings, which is probably the most well-preserved archaeological evidence of how people lived in ancient Egypt. These are tombs built on the west bank of the Nile that the pharaohs were buried, and their wives and their advisors were buried there for 5,000 years. There's still undiscovered treasures there. Abydos. Abydos is as ancient as the Great Pyramids, and it's a megalithic site and an activation point. If you ever want to know more about it, look at the book called The Search for Seti. Seti was an English woman, fell down the stairs as a child. She regained consciousness and said, I'm going to live my life in Egypt because I was the wife of Seti the First, or the consort. And she did. And she found archaeological evidence and helped really uncover a lot of Abydos. She spent the rest of her life, 70 years in Abydos. And so Abydos has an ancient, great history. I mean, these are the great temples of the world. The Temple of Karnak, the Temple of Edfu, the Temple of Philae to the goddess Isis. I was there in 91. I remember every single moment of my trip to Egypt, and that was 30-something years ago. And of course, the Great Pyramid, the King's Chamber will be our final place of activation. And there's no place more sacred than the
Beautiful
Great Pyramid.
I want to tell everyone that it's going to be 4 nights on the Nile, and it's going to be a very amazing event. Thank you, Alan. And I'm grateful for Neil for giving us this opportunity to share all that. All right, guys.
I just want to say there's still some room. These trips are filling up really, really fast, at least the trip to Egypt. So there is some room, but I'm going to put the link in the chat, which is EgyptAscensionRetreat.com. So that's the schedule. So I'm going to make it just a retreat. And, you know, if you feel pulled there, which most people on this path do, because Egypt is the mother of spiritual, cultural, religious, archaeological. It's the mother of the world. Everything goes back to Egypt. I think it's the centermost point of all the continents if you push it together. So it has magic. Joan, since you're a magical person, you're going to love the magic of Egypt. So
I know. All right.
Alan, just one question. You said there's still some room. Is it filling up very quickly? Because
Yeah.
I'm
filling up pretty quick. That will save
like,
you, Brandon, if you want to
yes,
go.
because this is like, I'm really trying to absolutely make this trip. So, yeah. Okay.
Reach out to Alan and we'll figure out if there's a way we can get you into the trip or you know, some kind of
Payment plans, there's
option.
some, no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
why don't you reach
Perfect.
to us after the show or tomorrow this week and we could see, you know, it's expensive because we have to pay for the private entrance to the chambers, the hotels, the domestic flights. So, you
Yeah.
know, we could make it more affordable. We'd have 500 people there, but let's see what we can do because there's a lot of people really feel like they need to be there. So, okay.
Thank you.
Well, thanks.
All
Brandon.
right. Thank you, Alan.
Thank
I'm going to
you.
have 10 days with you in Egypt. That's pretty crazy. And then another 10. All right, guys. So I'm really appreciative of being here. I see a lot of friends. I thank you so much, Alan and Karen. And I'm just on this screen.
Joan, I just want to say I was chatting to Neil the other day and we're going to get you all down under.
Okay, get us all down under. So I want to talk about tonight about letting go and really stepping into the full power of what you're here to do. And I have been, some of you have known me and watched me over the last year and a half, 2 years. In fact, probably ever since I met Sheila. I could say that the woman who joined the Wish Alliance a couple of years ago is not quite the same woman that is showing up here, or the divine being that I'm stepping into. And all of us who are on this call have come here with a high purpose to really help awaken humanity in some way, shape, or form. Awaken or assist or heal or sing to or just make them feel better or tweak their wings. However it is, we're all of us in this particular alliance here know that we have a gift, that we're here to help serve, help uplift, and help people remember who they are. But knowing that is also very, very different than embodying that. And so what I've discovered over the last year, I really want to share. Some of this was really with Sheila's help, some of it with Jody and Geraldine and Bridget. And it was because I was really searching for who I am and I was really stuck. I felt, and I think some of you can identify with that. I knew I was here for a very special reason, but that special reason wasn't manifesting and hadn't for many, many years, because when I was 30, I was shown a vision of what I was here to do. And here I was still struggling and it hadn't manifested. Different pieces had, but every time I'd look in, my guides would say, well, you know, the people, places, and things haven't come together yet, which is really a testimony to divine timing, to the idea that we really can't force anything, that we are in a divine flow, and that the universe is so tuned into each of our soul plans that they actually have it programmed in their great computer so that I can meet Karen accidentally at Starbucks in America the one day she might ever show up here by accident, and yet it could happen. And it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. And so because we live in that kind of universe, everything is possible. And so I was a big believer in miracles. Everything to me is a miracle. I think it's been a miracle that I was able to continue with a lot of obstacles and challenges and passing through. So by the time I came to the Galactic Alliance, I was in very much of a transition point and wanting to really connect even more with my guides, connect even more with these memories, very frustrated that I couldn't access the memories as well as a lot of you guys that I listen to, you know. I go, oh my God, these people are so advanced. What's with me? So I spent a year and a half on quite a journey. Now, this journey was also coinciding with the fact that I had been told to move to the desert, and after 7 years, I was told that I had learned what I needed to learn and I had to leave. So I had to leave my home in the desert, simultaneously with really trying to jumpstart connecting more with my life purpose, because that's the presence that I want to access in my life, that connection to the divine all the time. That's when Neil came in, and I began working closely with Neil. And at some point it became apparent I might as well just leave my house, stop paying rent, and shift into a new frequency. A lot of pretty scary, but pretty exciting also. And I had the support of many of you. So I had a session with Sheila, kind of right around when I was starting thinking about this journey. And she explained to me that I was a 32 aspect walk-in, and that one day I'd be a whole 33 aspect. And she kind of gave me some timelines. Some of them were right, some of them, are happening now. And the timelines were that I was calling back pieces of my soul. I had been so fractured that my pieces were still hiding in the closet, and I was still calling them back. Fast forward to going to Mexico now on a high-speed trip with Alan and Neil. And part of this journey has been my awakening. So I'm not going to give you all the details, but what's happened since then is that the memories of who I have been awakened. My memories of being in Atlantis. When I finally, I picked up Neil at his home and we drove up to Mount Shasta, and we arrive in Mount Shasta, and the first thing that really hits me is that not only have we done this before, but that we're taking the secret mystery schools of Atlantis, that I just knew instinctively that we had been in Atlantis, and that we had sent out these mystery schools across the planet, and that we were now together with this divine mission that was to awaken people around the world who had trained with us, who had studied with us, who are part of this awakening, of a galactic awakening. And that infused this sense of purpose, this sense of mission, because to imagine, number one, how many people Portal to Ascension reaches. He's by the time we're done, we'll reach millions of people, to wake them up, to activate their antennas, to remind them that they are part of those mystery schools, that they also have a sacred divine purpose. And so I aligned my purpose with Portal to Ascension with my purpose with these mystery schools and as an oracle and with these teachings. So funny, I've been doing so many in-person classes, with people on the other side that I want to say, do you understand? And I think I'm going to hear you say a yes. So in giving you all this background, there was a moment with Alan in Mexico when I really woke up I was having dreams of the drowning of Atlantis, of the seas, and all of us, many that I knew drowning. And I saw some really intensive things. One that I saw and knew was that part of my job as a high priestess there was to ferret out evil. And there was evil afoot, kind of like what's happening now, guys, just so you know. But there was evil afoot. And I sent people that I know in this lifetime, I sent people to stop it. And those people were tortured. And not only were they tortured, and some of the men were turned into eunuchs and still have that energy this life. But not only were they tortured that life, but I began to realize that so much of the heavy torture that so many of us have experienced has to do with the punishment for having dared to communicate with the gods, for having dared to challenge the dark, and for having walked in this glory that we did on that island. And I had these awakenings. And I looked at Alan right after I'd had a very profound vision, because he was also in the house working with us. And I looked at Alan and I had a memory of him carrying the scrolls out as thought, not just to Egypt, but to the Dead Sea and to Mesopotamia and to different places. And he shape-shifted in front of me. And I could see how important these roles are that we play, and how when you look at who you are this lifetime, so much of what we're doing in this lifetime mimics what we did in that lifetime. So, and in subsequent lifetimes around that. But many, because of how high all of, how much we taught and how high the vibrations were, really suffered through many lifetimes until this one. Now, this one has been one of suffering for many people also, in a big wake up in learning how to handle these intense energies and in learning how to step into your calling, because we are in, again, a very dark, a sort of dark period on Earth with an awakening that's about to happen for humanity. And we're part of both sides of this. We're part of this awakening. And as part of this awakening, learning how to hold our light, no matter the changes, no matter the transformations, no matter the fear or the ridicule or being, most of us as starseeds know we feel different than other people. We are not like other people for so many reasons, not just that we all have this star energy and this angelic energy, but we have a soul mission to awaken humanity here on the planet, to bring humanity or the earth back into balance. And we all do it differently. But our first mission is to remember. And so as I've been on this soul mission of remembering what I've tapped into, so the next journey, part of the journey was tapping into Egypt, to having been the goddess Hathor. And I found myself in a meditation with Hathor. And I'm sharing this part with you because I think it's relevant in what I see happening today. But I did a deep meditation. Once I really tuned into the energies of Hathor, I actually did a class on Hathor, and I understood the parallels with my own life. So Hathor was the goddess of beauty. And my mother was always, my mother's lineage, they were always called these most beautiful women in Brooklyn and New York, and they were considered beautiful. And I don't know, that enraged me so much that I tell everyone I took ugly pills growing up. So now I'm learning that Goddess Hathor is the goddess of beauty. And my mother comes to me one night and she says, well, Joan, you need to remember you are the daughter of Cleopatra. And that beauty is a spiritual value. There's a spiritual truth to wake up to understand that beauty can bring peace and harmony to a people. And sure enough, Hathor's role in Egypt was to bring a sense of balance and harmony to the peasants, to the people who were really suffering. They would look upon her and feel that all was right in the world. And she taught people the art, how to step into gratitude. And so I began to learn all of these new aspects of and I realized that some of my own qualities of kindness and compassion I've always had. It's just, if you touch my heart, I may look cold or cool and busy on the outside, but if you manage to touch my heart, it's very deep. And so this learning process began to teach me that which I had always been kind of attractive, rather than walk around like this and hide it. You can't hide if you're getting older, you can't hide if you're young, you can't hide if you're attractive, you can't hide if you're ugly. However, you can hide. Anyway, I don't even know why, but what I realized is that I had been hiding that which was one of my gifts here on the planet. And I began to connect more deeply with Hathor. And I had this experience. And I want to take you on the experience with me, because this is where the understanding of presence came. So I want you to, with me, send your roots down through your feet to the center of the earth. and just send them down, down, down. And as you send them down, I kind of want you to feel that your feet are also going down into the center of the earth. So send those feet down to the center, center, center of the earth and feel them stretching. And then the next part of this process is I want you to open up your crown chakra and literally imagine an antenna going up to the heavens, going right through your crown chakra, reaching up, up, up into the heavens. Now, as we're doing that, I want you to just feel, first of all, feeling this burst of energy. You can even do exactly what I'm doing to sort of feel that energy. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but feel that energy. But then imagine that you're being lifted out of your body, 10 feet, 50 feet, 100 feet, till you're sort of starting to stretch and being pulled into the heavens. At the same time, your feet are going deeper into the earth. As I began to do this, I began to first feel like suddenly I was inside of Horus. It was the craziest thing. I thought I would be inside of Hathor, but at first I was inside Horus. It was so surprising. And as I was putting my roots down to the center of the earth, and I want you to imagine now, think of those huge sculptures, those huge marble forms of the gods there that are hundreds of feet tall. And I found myself in Horus looking down at insects, people looking like insects, grasshoppers down there. And my feet were going through Horus's feet, now into the center of the earth. And then I found myself, that antenna going up through the crown, through Horus's crown. And I was hundreds of feet tall. And I'm sitting now inside of this image of Horus. And the next thing that I see is that there's a door, a gate, starting to form around me. And I knew that what was going to happen next was that if that gate closed, then Hathor was going to completely come back to life. That these gods have actually been waiting for us to align body, mind, and spirit with them. Because we are their embodiment. Many of us feel like we're part, God is part God, related to so-and-so and here, and carry that energy. And we are. And these gods are in suspended animation. And Alan and I I'm going to go sit in one of them, those beings. But as I did that, I experienced a fear. I said, oh, wait, I don't want to be in Horus. I want to be in Hathor. I want to be in the divine feminine. And I became a little nervous. And so I shifted in the energy of where I was. And I repeated the same process with Hathor. And I can feel her waking up, the embodiment of these energies. Now, there are those who say the gods are awakening. There are those who say the giants are awakening. And I say that we are part of that awakening, and that the more we begin to embody our higher dimensional selves as these avatars or these ancient ones that we are also, that we've come back to embody, that we've come back to embrace. And as we start to fully embrace our power, we will be able to walk through walls. We will be able to embody that. And yesterday, I went to the spoon bending class. I went to the spoon bending class with Zenka Lightnet, because I was so passionate about these new energies I'm feeling. It's like, how do I use my mind now to open that door? How do I use the energy out of my hand to bring a book to me from the bookshelf without getting up? Because those are the next steps of learning how to manifest this presence within us. So my work in embodying the presence is really teaching people. I do something called wing fluffing, where I teach people how to really feel your guides, your angels, or your star family with you. And so that wherever you go, you embody it. When you walk into a room, or when you begin a presentation, or you meet new people, instead of showing up as your third dimensional self, which is probably pretty cool by Earth standards, you start to embody a higher frequency. You make sure that your antenna's up, that your wings are fluffed, that you're feeling empowered, because it makes a difference. Because then people will say to you, God, there's something about you. Who are you? You don't even have to say a word. You just embody that presence. And that is a form of mastery. Because then what you want in this universe begins to want you and begins to magnetize to come to you. And those people you are calling to you, it's just like, it's just like, I'll try to explain this. The moment, so I got a little freaked out. In the class, the woman next to me was someone I had just done a reading for a few days ago. She's in the class right over here, beautiful woman. And I didn't know anyone else in the class, but you know, I had my own ego. Oh yes, the Oracle, I should be able to move these, you know, they should bend, yes. And I went through, you know, first round, nothing happened. Not sure if it was the second or third round, but I'll tell you what happened is that I suddenly looked over and I saw the girl I'd just done a reading for the other day, and she had done it. She'd never even used a pendulum in her life, right? She had, you know, I'm an expert, anyway. So I'm looking at her and someone comes up and we suddenly start going, what was the word, bend? Oh yeah, we did a chant, bend, 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 bend. And Jenny, who was there, suggested that I begin to see the spoon, not just the molecules of the spoon, but to see the spoon expand, to see those molecules expanding. And the next thing I knew, I felt a prompt, boom, like this. Now, in doing readings for people, I've discovered that there's a moment where I see something very profound about the person I'm reading. It's so esoteric, or either that or so mundane that I'm afraid to say it, you know? And then in my mind, I think, oh, anyone would have guessed that they were the seventh child of it doesn't matter. So it's so complex. And here I am in my mind thinking anyone would guess this, but it's a little fragment that comes to me. If I have the courage to shriek that fragment out loud, or state it out loud, even no matter how bizarre it is, I usually discover that it's aligned exactly with what they wanted. And it confirms what they were thinking. But you have to know that it's like counter to me as a logical person. Now, it's the same way with bending the spoon. There is that moment. And if you just go, okay, and you go like that, it happened. And it happened twice. Now, I didn't do it with my mind. That's the next step. But I did do it. And so today I went to a client's office to do a reading with her and her husband. So she knew me. He didn't. You think, like, I just did what I was supposed to. I had each of these in my hand. Now, if you're a normal business person who owns a real estate company and someone walks in to counsel you and your wife and they hold their spoons in your hand, okay, I'm trying to set the tone. And my guide said, just get up and just go give him a big hug. Now I'm feeling his resistance. I'm going, oh my God, I should not have led with the spoons. I shouldn't have led with the hug, right? And I have these moments, and then it doesn't matter. I'm walking around the office and now I'm holding these new Oracle tools and the table talks to me. The table says, tell them we don't belong in this room. We need to be in that room. This guy doesn't even know me. And I'm saying, well, you have to move this table. Your table just spoke to me. These are the challenges and trials and tribulations of walking around as Joan of Angels, right? Okay. By the time we sit down, I'm going, oh my God, what a test for me. You know, I don't even know a thing about this person. I just know that he's not smiling, you know, and that somehow there's something behind that. And what I will say is this, the more I held the spoons, the more they showed me why I was there. And at some point in the session, I saw him on the ship. Actually, what happened is I told him that he has to redo the whole office. And it turned out that and I said, I see you on the ship. You need to, this is like your, what do you call it? Where the head of the ship, you know, where you do everything, the command center, you need a command center. And he just looked at me. He said, wow, I've been thinking of that. I have been like thinking of it. So of course we talked about listening to your guides and why they're prompting him to do this. And as they were doing that, now I'm sitting in the corner holding this. He's starting to warm up and smile because obviously I'm on the right path. I'm channeling the ship. And I said, oh my God, the galactical, and this has never happened to me. Never, ever have I prayed for it. I said, the Galactic Alliance is talking to me and they want you to know that I'm here to answer every question that you have. So I'm here to relay their instructions to you and let you know what kind of job you're doing, because he was doing an amazing job, but he was alone, you know, on this top of Mount of Sedona, you know, like doing his thing and not quite knowing, just wanting confirmation. And there I was, the woman with the spoons who looked like the nutcase when I walk in the door. I'm saying to him, well, the Galactic Alliance wants you to know this. And they kept giving me instructions for him. And I was sitting in there, and that was, of course, one of the things I've always wanted. That just happened today. But why did it happen? It happened because as we step through the portal and say yes to each experience that we get aligned for even more. We get tuned up. We get more information. My guides, I don't know about yours, but they only give me as much as they give me one step at a time, because my mind gets in the way. And if they showed me that I would one day be talking to you about standing in a statue or carrying these spoons around, I might not have said yes either. So my guides give me this one step at a time thing, but at this point, the key for all of us is to say yes when you get that prompting, and to say yes despite the fact that it may not look logical, or that it goes against everything everyone else is telling you. And the way I handle that is I really sit with it. And I just, again, I've taught for the last 10 years, probably very consistently, several things for the last, actually for a long time. How to align yourself, body, mind, and spirit with what you're here to do. And how to turn your power on to allow yourself to have that frequency that will take you to do what you came here to do. So that is part of this power or this presence of standing in your truth. So this moment, I'm going to ask if there's any questions before I continue or anything like that. I've had the privilege of having all these live audiences, which has been so exciting. And I want all of you alive, like, you know, wave to, I want to, like, it's the weirdest thing. I'm feeling this need for connection like I haven't had before. Okay, I'm going to turn on the screen to see you all. So these spoons have a magical quality to them now. I fell in love with the spoon. I could feel the vibration of it. And I know that that's what's called unity consciousness. And the last exercise that we had was we took a fermented, I had a fermented pea and a fermented lentil, but not that fermented. They were closed, they were not open. And we put them in our hand and we sent energy to them. And lo and behold, the first one was the girl on my left, right? Just to let you know, because I was paying attention to her. And I go over there and I could see the little, you know, when a pea opens, you see a little white thing start to come up. If you're sprouting, you see the little white tail. And I'm looking at mine and I'm looking at mine and I'm looking at mine. And, you know, I don't think anything's happening. Maybe. And I'm begging it. We're all doing all sorts of contortions to our seeds. And then one of the facilitators, Jenny, says to me, or to all of us, she said, well, you know, why don't you visualize what you want the seeds to become? What a key, you know, like in this power of presence, in this ability to connect to the divine and bring these energies. What is it we see? What are we shifting into? What kind of being are we becoming? So as she said that, I suddenly had an image of the pea growing into a pea plant, pea pods. And I happen to love pea pods. I think they're such beautiful plants, the way they vine and they entwine. And I began to fall in love with the pea pod, the pea plant that it was about to become. And I looked down, and now there's a gap, like it started to split, and that white part of the pea was bigger. And I studied the little lentil, like really praying for help here. And there's just a tiny little thing, but it had shifted, which is such a good beginning. And then today, walking around, and these little beautiful things they're talking to me right now. So if you want to bring this spoon out, we keep the line. No, I'm not in teaching spoon bending, but that is how the power of, and I wanted to share that because, again, that's another paradigm shift. One of the keys is, what is it that fascinates you and calls you? What is it that awakens you every day to want to leap out of tall buildings and get out of bed and do your thing? For many people, and I don't think so much for many of us, but 2020 was a really difficult year for many people. And in the summer of 2020, I had been doing a lot of online Zoom calls. I was talking about the corona and the spread of light going viral around the planet. And then summertime came, and so this has been endless. I was thinking, oh God, now I have to sort of reboot here. And I didn't know whether I was supposed to reboot. I didn't know what to reboot into, except that I was Joan of Angels, and I was going around telling everyone I'm Joan of Angels. And that was a pretty interesting thing, because I went online and, I'm the only Joan of Angels, which is quite profound. And as I was kind of really feeling into that, my guides gave me a wake-up call. I call them little angel slaps, they just go, Joan, because they want to remind me to stay humble and to remember who I am. I see Karen smiling. Yeah, Joan. And so I get these angel slaps. And why? Because to be one of the chosen ones, you must choose. It's not just that your angels might be calling, or the guides are calling you to wake up. There is a call that goes out. But the second part of that is you must say yes. And you must agree that you're going to do what you came here to do, why you're here. And so that's what they said to me. They said, well, Joan, we want you to know, and it was practically like they were sitting in the room with me. We really want you to know that you were named Joan of Angels because you have a very special mission in this life. You're here to help people remember who they are. You're here to help them wake up. You're here to help them clear their field of things that keep them from remembering. And what do you think you're doing? If you want to stay in this particular phase, go ahead. There's other people right behind you who will take over. To be one of the chosen ones, we must choose. We must say, yes, I'm ready. Yes, even if I'm scared, yes, I'm ready. And so when they said that to me, I don't know, was that a galactic threat? No, it was really a wake up. Like, Joan, you have a mission. You're getting lost. We are going to help you remember so that you can help people remember, because it's easy to get lost on a 3D world. Very easy. That was, again, a big part of my awakening, to realize, again, the purpose that I have here on the planet. And just about then, Neil came. No, that was 2020, but I've been friends with Neil for 10 years. But not long after, I started to do conferences with Neil, and now I'm traveling around the world. And I see that traveling around the world, everywhere I go, I'm establishing light towers wherever I'm going. I'm waking up that area. Saturday, I was in Cottonwood, down the hill from Sedona, and I was with a dear acquaintance of mine that I met through Neil, who's part of our bigger tribe here. And we worked together for about 2 or 3 hours. It was really intense. She worked with me, I worked with her. She'd been living there for about 2 years, and we looked outside, and I suddenly saw that she had the most amazing totem, a turtle totem in her yard. She had never seen the turtle totem because she's always sitting the opposite way. And I brought her this totem, which changed her reality. But what I realized is that part of my mission is now going around to visionary light leaders around the planet, again, where I was this morning too, of very strong visionaries, and helping them anchor in and tune into the beings that are working with them, the ones who have given you the visions to do what you're doing. I am, what I have seen, kind of like a consort to the gods. I help the gods themselves. I counsel them. I help them see the big picture, see what they're missing. It's quite a unique role. I never really have told people that that's what I do, but that is what I do. So I am a visionary's visionary now, because I help the visionaries remember. So the people I was with today have an impact on many people. Neil has an impact on many people. Sheila has an impact on many people. Everything that we do together now touches the lives of many. This, what we're doing on Roku and Apple TV and Amazon, we are raising vibrational frequency. And it's not always about the numbers. It's actually about the highest of vibrational antennas that we are each sending out. Those of you who have shows, those of you who are part of that collective, we are sending that out at the highest of frequencies. And what is it doing? It's tapping into antennas across the planet to raise their frequency, to tune it up more, to encode more light. And that allows what I like to call miracle seeds or celestial seeds to be spread across the land and to change the vibrational frequency from the top down. Also, once the seeds get into the water and the air and soil from the bottom up. So the higher we each raise our own antennas and tap into that frequency, the higher this planet, the greater the awakening here on our planet Earth, and the higher the timeline. We are definitely on that ascension timeline, and we've all come together. So I want to thank Sheila for bringing us all together, for sure, for waking up to her awakening and helping to be there for all of us other awakening beings. Oop, there you are. I don't know how much time I have. I love talking.
You do have a few more questions, but we do have a question. It said, what can each of us do? And this is from Stacy. What can each of us do to assist or facilitate the awakening in our areas?
What an amazing question. Because the awakening is a personal thing. I say that the planet is awakening. There are cosmic energies that are helping it awaken, but nothing awakens unless each and every one of us awakens, in a sense. Well, we have our part. Awakening happens, that simple process, Stacy, of connecting with the earth, center of the earth, connecting with the heavens, a breathing process, say, or listening to a guided meditation. Nowadays, I've been really tuning into my Arcturian self, and I actually have Peter's Arcturian bracelets. I think, Stacy, and that tells me one of the things is to listen to the messages you get, because I think you're being told sometimes what to do. It's a matter of saying yes. So 2 weeks ago, I'm on the road. It's really hard for me to remember. 2 weeks ago or a week ago, I heard a voice that said, Joan, get up and get those bracelets that you were given, the Arcturian bracelets that Vivian gave you. And I said, I'm too tired. I don't want to get out of bed. And then I heard that voice again, and I remembered that I'm so lazy that half the time I don't listen. So I listened. Now I'm telling you that because that's step one, listening to that very subtle voice. So I got out of bed and I put on these Arcturian bracelets, and I want you to know something. I found this amazing meditation, and the next thing I knew, I had Arcturians at my feet, and they were surrounding me. And I knew that if I hadn't put those bracelets on, I wouldn't have felt it. number one step is to start to listen to the messages you are being given. And when you question those messages, or someone says, are you crazy or sane? Then you go back and you start to listen again, because the messages you're getting from your gut and your guides are far more powerful and more important. So you start by clearing your energy. Maybe it's about letting go of people, places, or things that don't support you. I call them those miracle busters. Are there people, places, or things in your life that doesn't support your energy? I want to say something too about that mother energy. The other day, on Saturday, my friend on Saturday morning said to me, well, you are the divine mother and you're holding that energy. And I've been fighting that because, you know, that kind of dates you. No one wants to be the divine mother or the divine grandmother, you know, and acknowledge you're getting older on the planet. I didn't want to do that. And it used to upset me when I'd be in ceremonies with people and they'd want to hear my wisdom, but because they would consider me becoming an elder. So I'm getting that off my chest, but I understand that that's one of my avatars, is the Divine Mother. And in fact, the Divine Mother is calling me and some of you to Egypt for that experience, to have that within us. So I guess I'm coming to terms and understanding what that means, not just for me, but for humanity, because I am here to awaken, heal, and inspire millions of people. I want to address something else. So awakening is a personal thing. And you know, so many people on this line do awakening processes. They teach awakening. Awakening comes by sitting and taking a walk and looking out at that tree. Awakening does come right now through things that make you feel good. I know when I'm in a real awakening moment when I hear my heart sing. And I've had several experiences where I've heard my heart sing. Okay, so I'm looking. Are there any other questions? And as far as awakening goes, the first process is, even if you can't remember, all you know is you're here to carry the light, period. If you know that you're here to carry the light, and you practice, you go, okay, I'm going to go in Starbucks, and that's a really weird place, and I always feel frazzled, say, when I'm there. Then practice feeling the presence of the angels with you. Say, okay, I'm just going to call in my guides. I don't know if I'm going to see them or not, but let's do it. And let's act like we're really empowered and walk in and see what happens. And carry that light and send it out to everyone we meet, because most people are in a lower frequency right now. We are in a higher frequency. No matter how low you might be feeling, you are 1,000 times higher than many of those we call humans on the planet, who don't even know what's really going on. And so we are the ones that have come to hold this. And in our holding it, we can wake up millions of people. And the fact that this broadcast goes out to maybe thousands or hundreds of thousands, and that each of you reach thousands and hundreds of thousands, and Neil and Alan alone reach 250,000 people in the end of the day. All together, with all the people we tap, we can double and triple that by our intention, by knowing that 100th monkey, we are those 100 monkeys. It is our job to light up. Think of it this way. If all of these souls have an antenna, and all that has to happen for an ascension to occur is that the switch gets turned on. For the majority, 51% of humanity, we could do that. We could all go out tonight. I can see Sheila leading this. We can go all out tonight, circle the planet, and whenever we see a switch, turn it on, light the fire, send a little arrow down their way to light it up. That's our real true mission. It's to light up the planet right now to the highest place it could go. And when we do it collectively, I don't know, can anyone feel it, or am I the only one who feels this?
Oh, I think everybody's feeling it, Joan. And Stacy has another question. She goes, she was thinking her question is how to shine bright and to affect humanity. I am a lighthouse and trying to hold that light, just wondering if I can do or be more.
First thing I'm going to say is that many of you have impossible missions, seemingly impossible missions. I say seemingly, because without galactic source power, starseed power, angel power, the things that all of us are putting into motion would not happen. And I know, I see Sheila, we have an extra special, we have allies that really help to raise these light frequencies. So we're not alone, and we have to remember that. And this process, I do something called wing fluffing. Did I do it? And maybe I'll come back, I'll do some more wing fluffing. But when you invoke the presence of your guides to be with you, and you literally see archangels on either side, or tall whites on either side, or Arcturians on either side, you're not alone. And you walk with a different energy. There was a show, musical, years ago called West Side Story. Many of you probably don't know, but a few of you might remember it. And it's the battle of the gangs in Harlem. And one of the songs is, when you're a jet all the way. From your first cigarette to your last dying day, you're never alone. And in a way, you're always well connected. You're well protected. And that's us, each of us who says yes to claiming this destiny of ours, that is to be a light bearer. And even if you don't know if you're like exactly what your job on earth is, like as a career, you know what you're good at. And you know the impact you have on people. And you know also that we've been told that the higher you raise that vibratory frequency, the more positive your impact is on the souls and humanity around you. So go in and practice in a state of empowerment in the supermarket. Now, supermarkets are particularly hard for empaths because you never know who had an argument in the vegetable department before you got there, but you can feel the effects because you get attacked in places like that. I came up with a strategy in 2020 when they had us, masked and shielded. First, I was like, oh my God. So what did I do? I started humming in the supermarket. I found that when I hummed, in my mask, no one could hear me humming. In my mask, I changed my own vibration. And then I began to just imagine that me and my wings were out there, and that I was in my own protective bubble, and I started sending light because I realized everyone there was scared. That's what you have to know. People are freaked out by what happened here on planet Earth. It was unexpected. Most of them are not prepared for that. Most of them don't know they have these skills or came in for a reason, and that we came in for this particular time. So they're out of effect. So if you just hold compassion, send them love, you are healing the planet.
Beautiful. Well, Joan, I can't believe we're already at the top of the hour. So I want to thank you so much for being here and, really sharing your light with everyone. I can say, I guess I've known you, 3 years, something like that. And to see how you have changed and how you fluffed your wings and how you're coming forward is just absolutely beautiful. And I know that you're serving as an inspiration to a lot of people. So if people want to get a hold of you and have a session with you, how can they do that?
Well, let's see. joanofangels.com. There's a few things. Go to joanofangels.com and you can do that. You can reach out for any of the services. I even have a service now called wing fluffing because I finally realized, well, God, I'm kind of, as a mother, I fluff people up. Can't help it. It's my nature. Also check out my YouTube channel at Joan of Angels. I am still growing that channel and working with that. So that's where I put all my goodies and interviews. All those interviews with Alan and I are there. And so you can catch me there also. But know that you're loved.
Yeah, and they can catch you on Can with your
Oh
videos.
my God, on Can, I have great videos on Can. I started out to do a show with Sheila in the mornings, but I have this habit of, I can't take on more than I can chew right now. And I'm traveling and it's intense. But I look forward to working with you. If you have a question, call me, email me.
Beautiful. Great. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you again at the Portal to Ascension retreat. And do you want to share again those dates and how people can sign up if they haven't already done so?
Alan, if you could put the link to the conference in there, that would be great. It is the third weekend in in April. I've been out of my body. Okay, it's the third weekend in April, so it's not that far away. And
so we
right
have
now,
April 21st, 22nd, and 23rd in San Diego. And just go to the portaltoascension.com. They have this cool little link that I think it says events live, and you just click on that and it'll drop down. It will show you this event along with all of the other things that Neil has going on, all of the other tours that's happening as well. And so just go there, portaltoascension.com, check it out. And I hope you guys will be there. I'll be there. Susie will be there. Joan will be there. Alan, all these phenomenal people. We hope that you'll be there. Karen, did you want to say something?
a lot of speakers that are on here, you know, a lot of people that are on Can are going to be there. Geraldine is going to be there.
Yes.
I just wanted to pipe in and say that, you know, Neil set me up with speaking to the speakers on ATP this year, on Accentuate the Positive Media this year. And so I have been having a blast speaking. I spoke to Neil last week and had such an amazing conversation with Neil. And then before that was Adam Apollo. I'm totally in love with Adam Apollo. And then Laurie Spanger, fell in love with her. Ra of Earth, Eric Rankin. Who else did I speak to? Geraldine Orozco. There are a few people that didn't turn up that I were booked in that, you know, couldn't turn up for whatever reason. But so if you want to check out the speakers, go to Accentuate the Positive Media on YouTube or on the website. And I had amazing conversations with the speakers. I feel so blessed and lucky that Neil set me up, because it's like November last year, he's like booked in about, you know, half a dozen speakers for the show this year. And I'm like, oh, that was easy.
Right? And you did a really good job, Karen. I want you to know something, and we really appreciate that so much. When you interviewed me, I think you're you run an amazing show. You are a really good interviewer. You're enthusiastic. You're so professional that it's a delight. But also, you know, we're touching in a lot of souls, and I'm really glad we'll reach out to you, you know, next time we have other conferences as well. So thank you for that. Yeah, I love being part of Portal to Ascension. Just so you know, Neil has seen in me the thing that I always saw in myself, and that maybe no one else had ever seen before. And that's what we see in you guys. So here's the conference. Wait till you see all these pictures as we screen down there. There's Alan. Alan is one of the hosts. Adam Apollo is doing a concert on Sunday night along with Larissa Stowe. That is
Beautiful.
Part of what we're offering, and it should be a lot of fun, I have to say. And on Friday night, we have an Ascension panel that Deborah Giusti is running. And I know we have the Hertags on it. We have Ishmael Perez on it. And lo and behold, we have Lori on it. And I can't remember who else is on it because I'm not running that one. We have all your favorite people. You know, I have to say that as I said, meeting Sheila in person last summer, I just could hardly believe it. I felt like I had known her forever. Like, I didn't want to let her go when I hugged her. I just, and sitting in the living room together, I just, my soul is starved for that. And I'm thinking, if my soul, who I've been a hermit for years, is starved, you guys probably are too.
Yeah. So come on out and join us, just a couple of weeks away. So we hope we'll see everybody there. And I want to thank everyone who did show up tonight. And if you're here, or even if you're watching and you are not on the Galactic Alliance mailing list, please go to the galacticalliance.org, sign up to be on our mailing list. Rest assured, you will receive at least 2 emails a week promoting our Monday and our Thursday. So please don't let us go to your spam. If you're on the email list and you are not getting our notices, chances are, because we send out to thousands of people, so chances are it could have gone to spam. So please check that if you would. And I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I want to thank Joan. Joan, I can't wait to give you another hug in a couple of weeks. It's going to be absolutely fabulous. And in our closing, are there any final words that you would like to share with everyone?
We were born for this. Keep saying yes, keep saying yes to your awakening. Keep saying yes to that vision that you've always had about who you are. That's who you are. And keep seeking out like-minded people. Like, we go in deep, but we connect with our hearts, with each and every, we support each other. And I think that hold steady. We were born for these times.
Yeah.
Hold on, stand true to your own self.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And again, thank all of you for being here. So until we are back together again, namaste, everyone. Much love, and we will see you next time. Thank you. Good night.